Hello, friends. Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on formal letter writing in English exams. Simple steps in writing a good letter. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video is uploaded on the channel, you will be notified instantly. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Now let's look at the agenda for today's lesson. Number one, what is a formal letter? We shall be looking at the meaning of a formal letter. Then number two, the features. What are the features of a formal letter? Number three, the steps. We shall look at the steps to take in writing a formal letter. And number four, we look at the sample, writing a sample letter by solving a past question. So these are the things we are going to do. Now, what is a formal letter? Another name for formal letter is official letter. It is a letter or a kind of letter you write to someone who occupies an official position. And the purpose is usually to get something done or to achieve a specific result. If you write a letter to the Minister for Labor, Minister for Education, Commissioner for Agriculture, the Governor, the President, the Director of a government agency, the manager of a bank, the district manager of a transport corporation, and so on and so forth. Once you are writing to somebody who occupies an official position, you are writing a formal letter. Now, number two, what are the features of a formal letter? Now, these are the features, all right? Let's look at the features one by one. The first feature is your address and date. This is followed by the designation and full address of the person you are writing to. That is the receiver's official title. For instance, if you are writing to a sales manager, or you are writing to the chairman of the local government area, then that is the title, the designation, then followed by the address. And the third feature is the salutation or greeting, and is usually dear sir or dear madam. A formal letter has a title. For example, application for the post of a sales manager. Now, if you write it with a mixture of small and a mixture of capital and small letters, then you underline it. I will show you the two methods. The other method is what I call total capitalization. You write everything in capital letters, you don't need to underline. So usually a formal letter has a title or a heading, if you like. Now, number five, the message or the body of the letter, all right? The message, let's actually call this the content. Yes, the message, not necessarily the body, because the message can be subdivided into the three main parts of a piece of writing. The introduction, which is the first paragraph, the body of the letter, which is the second, third, and possibly fourth paragraphs, and then the conclusion, which is the last paragraph. Now, after the message or content of the letter, let's actually call this content instead of body, all right? Yes, the message or the content of the letter. All right, which, as I told you, is subdivided into introduction, body, and conclusion. Then after that, you have the subscription or complimentary clause. In a formal letter, it's usually yours faithfully. After yours faithfully, you have your signature. This is followed by your full name. Normally, you start with your surname first, then followed by your first name. Then the next feature is optional. That is, in case you are representing a body or an organization, like a society, a club, or an organization. If you are writing in your capacity as the president of a club or the secretary of a club, then you can indicate your official position. So these are the features of a formal letter. Now we are going to look at the steps to take in writing a formal letter. The first thing is read the question carefully for content. All right. Normally, in an English exam, you are given different essay writing topics, and you have the freedom to choose a letter writing question, a speech writing question, an article writing question, a story writing question. If you are choosing to write a formal letter, then it should be the one that requires you to discuss a topic that you are familiar with, that you can, discuss, easily and effectively. All right. Now, we want to illustrate how to write a formal letter using a past question, and we have taken this from the West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2005. Question number 3, if you are able to get, if you have the past question compilation guide for the senior class, then of course you can look at question number 3 in the year 2005. Now this is the question. There has been a continuous discussion on the evils of unemployment. Write a letter to the Commissioner for Labor, highlighting at least 3 of these evils and ways of addressing them. So you see, that is exactly, you are asked to write to the Commissioner for Labor in your state. Okay, so let's look at the writing process. Before you write, you pre-write. Now, I can say that the writing process is made up of 3 stages. All right, stage 1 is pre-writing. 2 is writing. 3 is rewriting. So those are the 3 stages. Rewriting means the planning you have to make before you start writing. Before you start writing, you have to plan, and that's what we want to look at here. Okay, so let's actually get to business here. Now, what do you do in pre-writing? You brainstorm. To brainstorm means to think about the topic you have been asked to write on in order to generate ideas for your letter. And then you create an outline. An outline is a list of the main points you are going to discuss in your writing. For example, we have been asked to, let's look at the question again. There has been a continual discussion on the evils of unemployment. Write a letter to the Commissioner for Labor, highlighting at least 3 of these evils and ways of addressing them. All right, so in creating an outline, we want to make sure we jot down 3 points, 3 of these, evils of unemployment. So number 1, we say poverty and poor standard of living. Someone who is unemployed is facing poverty because no means of income, right? Point number 2, increasing rate of crime. People who are unemployed are likely to go into armed robbery, burglary, all kinds of stealing, kidnapping, as a way of finding income, even through illegal means. Then the third one is increasing rate of violence. People who are unemployed can easily be persuaded to join a terrorist group, a banditry group, and so on and so forth. They can also be used as political thugs to cause violence, to help the politicians achieve their selfish aims. All right? So they cause violence. Okay, so having jotted down the points, we need to plan. You need to plan your answer logically. You need to understand the parts of a letter. Your letter has to be well organized. All right, so in writing a formal letter, I want you to look at this. The first is your address, followed by the recipient's address. You see the top right hand side of your answer sheet is where you write your address. Then immediately on the left hand side, you write the receiver's address. And then, of course, don't forget you also have to write the date. All right? The date does not have to be okay. The date does not have to come below the receiver's address. No, the date should come immediately after your address, and it is after your date you have the recipient's address. In the case of a formal letter, you begin with the title, the official position of the receiver, followed by the address, and then followed by the greetings, dear sir or dear madam. Then after this, then what to write? You have to, in a formal letter, you have to write your title. Your title should be the next thing here. Okay, your title. And then after your title, then no, what comes is the greeting. Already we have shown the greeting here. All right. It is after the greeting. After the greeting, then you have the title. The title comes after the greeting, dear sir or dear madam, comma, and then you come here and you write the title. Okay. So your title comes here, and after which you then begin with the first paragraph, followed by the second, third, and fourth paragraph that should form the body of your letter. Thereafter, then you have your subscription or closing, which is usually yours faithfully, comma, then signature here. You have to sign your signature. After your signature, you have your full name, beginning with your surname. All right, so that is exactly, you need to understand the format of a formal letter. Then the next thing I want you to pay attention to is how to enrich your introductory paragraph so that you can score high under content. How do you do that? There are basically 5 essential ingredients a good introductory paragraph should contain. The first is the hook. The hook is the first sentence. You know, in this case, it's just simple. I will show you in the sample. Then the background information is not compulsory that all these 5 ingredients must be there. I will show you the most important ones. Then the thesis. You see, the hook and the thesis are the most important. All the other ones are optional. The background information is optional. Enumeration is optional. Intro is also optional. But you have to make sure you have the hook, which is the first sentence that grabs the attention of the reader. And then the thesis is telling the reader what your writing is all about. What is the letter? What is the purpose? All right. You state the purpose in your thesis. All right. Your enumeration will give a summary of the key points you want to discuss, and your intro will just give a signal that you are now going to do what you have said you are going to do. Okay, so then discuss your key points in the body paragraphs. That's the next step. Now, your body paragraphs is where you discuss the key points of your essay one by one. And you have to organize this beginning with paragraph 2. In paragraph 2, you discuss point 1. For example, our point 1 is poverty and low standard of living. We discuss it in paragraph 2. In paragraph 3, we discuss point 2, which is increasing rate of crime. In paragraph 4, we discuss point 3, which is increasing rate of violence. All these are the evils or effects of unemployment. Okay, so then the next thing you must do is to use simple language so that you will score high on expression, you know, because how you express your ideas in good English is what determines whether you score high or low in that essay. So your expression is the way in which you make your thoughts, ideas, or feelings known, and it is one of the criteria the examiner uses for awarding marks to your essay. Usually in the senior WAEC exam, it carries 20 marks, whereas other criteria or parameters carry 10 marks. So you can see them here. All right, content carries 10 marks, organization carries 10 marks, expression carries 20 marks, mechanical accuracy carries 10 marks, altogether 50 marks. All right, so now you need to end your letter with a clear call to action. I will show you how to do this, because a formal letter is a letter that actually calls on relevant authorities to take some specific action. So I will show you how to make a call to action. All right, now then the conclusion, that's the last paragraph. This is the last part of your letter, and it is where you sum up or bring together what you have been saying so far. Now, how do you do this? Now you can summarize the main points. Then you can re-emphasize your thesis. All right, I will show you how this is done. You can make a clear call to action, as I already said, and then you can make a statement that will leave a lasting impression. You don't have to do all this together. I'll show you how you can pick the one you will use depending on the type of letter or the type of writing that you have chosen to do. Then the next part is to proofread your work to ensure that you score high marks under mechanical accuracy. Now, what happens is that when you write an essay or a letter in an English exam, those who mark, the one who marks your script will circle every error, every mistake you make, whether in spelling or in the use of tense or in punctuation or in the use of capital letter or small letter wrongly, or in errors in grammar. All right. Once you make a mistake, the examiner will draw a circle around that mistake, and that means you have lost half a mark. So you need to cross-check your work and correct any mistakes to avoid losing marks. Now, your mechanical accuracy refers to the truthfulness and correctness of your content in terms of grammar, spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. So you need to cross-check your work. Now is the time to illustrate how to write a formal letter using a past exam question. We have taken a question from the West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2005. I looked for a formal letter question in the Junior WAEC past questions compilation guide I had. I only saw, informal letters. It's like, the exam board is fond of setting questions on informal letters for the junior students. Well, that was the pattern I noticed, but I know that it's really not a law, because someday they might set a formal letter writing question. So it's good for you to prepare to learn how to write a formal letter, whether you are in the junior school or in the senior school. All right, so that's really very important. And that's why we are discussing this in this lesson. Now, question number 3, 2005, there has been a continual discussion on the evils of unemployment. Write a letter to the Commissioner for Labor highlighting at least 3 of these evils and ways of addressing them. Okay, so now let's look at the sample letter here. Now, you can see that this is the address. Because it's a formal letter, it's important you use the block style. This is the block style, and it is the closed block style. In other words, it's punctuated. Now take note of the punctuations. 24 Kaduna Street, there's a comma after 24 and a comma after street. Yaba, a comma again, Lagos State, full stop. At the end of your address, you put a full stop. Then the next thing is the date, July 20, 2021, full stop. All right, so take note of that. Then comes the designation or the official position of your receiver and his address. And look at how we put it here. The Commissioner for Labor, Lagos State Ministry of Labor and Productivity, State Secretariat, Alausa, Ikeja. All right, so if you don't know the address, you can invent the address. Just, that, the commissioners and top government officials are expected to be in the capital, and that is the seat of government, Alausa, Ikeja, all right? Now, after the address, we have the salutation of opening greeting. Dear sir, you look at a comma here. Then the evils of unemployment. This is the title. This is what I mean by total capitalization method. You write everything in capital letters. You don't need to underline. Now, if you decide to use the other method, which I mentioned earlier, then you observe certain rules. You see? So you can see the evils of unemployment. So if you use this method, then you underline it. Don't worry about the line I drew. It should be straight. So in an exam, you use a ruler and draw a line under it. And you look at this, this is a combination of small letters and capital letters. If you use this method, you have to observe some rules. Rule number one, the first word in the title must begin with a capital letter. And that's why we write B with a capital letter T. Now, if this article were to be in the middle or of the title, we don't need to begin it with capital letter. But because it's the first word in the title, we capitalize the word. Then the word evils is a content word. English words are divided into two: content words and, what we can call lesser words or empty words. Content words are words that convey meaning in themselves, but, empty words or function words, if you like, are words like articles, like conjunctions, prepositions, words that don't contain meaning within themselves, but which we use to join content words together in a sentence or in a title. All right. So now, evils here starts with capital letter E because it's a content word. Of is a preposition, so it starts with a small letter. Take note of this. If this resembles a capital letter, it should be a small letter. All right. Then unemployment should start with a capital letter because it's a noun. This is a noun. This is a noun. Content words are nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, words that convey meaning, that carry meaning within themselves. All right. Okay. So, but I always advise my students to use this method because you are likely to get it right than when you make a mistake trying to use the other method. Here you write everything in capital letter and you don't need to underline it. Now, this is our first paragraph, and this is where we have our introduction. Our introduction should contain certain essential ingredients. So, and look at exactly what we mean here. I wish to contribute to the ongoing discussion by highlighting some of the evils of unemployment and ways of addressing them. You see, this is the subject matter, what we call hook. Now, because you are writing a formal letter, you want to appear to be formal. You are not, you are not interested in any other thing than to go straight into the purpose of the letter. So that's why you go straight into what the examiner has asked you to write, because there have been contribution, discussion going on that topic. Then it's not something that is new to the commissioner. It's something already in the front burner. So you are contributing to the discussion. So it is good for you to state it in this way. You can as well decide to write, I wish to draw your attention to some of the evils of unemployment, and suggest ways of addressing them. But since we have been told that there are ongoing discussions, which means even the commissioner is aware of discussions going on, and you just want to contribute your own quota, you want to share your own ideas and make recommendation. So that can be an appropriate way to start it. And this is the hook, this is the subject matter. Although much has been said and written about unemployment, I believe that it is necessary to examine its direct effects on the lives of our people and find practical ways of solving the problem. This is your thesis. Your thesis is your main viewpoint, your opinion, what you want to say about the topic. Is a social topic, is something that is of interest to the public, but you want to discuss this public topic from your own personal point of view, and that is your thesis. That point of view, or that angle from which you want to discuss the topic, is your thesis. That is your central argument. That is your main idea, what you want to say about the topic. All right? Okay, so you have stated your thesis here. The most critical of the evils of unemployment are poverty and poor standard of living, the increasing rate of crime, and the increasing rate of violence. You have enumerated these points. In other words, you are saying that although there are many other evils of unemployment, you have chosen this to discuss these three, and you regard these three as the most critical of them, and that is why you want to discuss them. This is in line with the question. All right, so then we come up with an intro. In the following paragraphs, I will discuss them one by one and also suggest ways of remedying the ugly situation. You have stated your intro. So here we have our who, the subject matter, we have our thesis, we have our enumeration, and we have our intro. All right, so that's really very, very important. Now, having introduced the topic, then we go ahead to discuss it, beginning with paragraph 2, which is the starting point of the body of our letter. So we pick the first point in from our outline, and then we discuss it in this paragraph. Now, this is how we can do it. To start with, unemployment has thrown a large population of our people into abject poverty. You see, you have stated this point, and this is your topic sentence. Whenever you begin a paragraph, is good you begin with your topic sentence. All right, and that's why we have underlined this. After your topic sentence, all the other sentences will be to support what you have already said. Now, let's see how we support our topic sentence. People in this category have either lost their jobs or have not been able to secure any job since they left school. As a result, they have no means of income to meet their basic needs. Many of them can hardly afford, okay, so now continuing. Many of them can hardly afford a decent meal, much less have 3 square meals a day. Many of them live under bridges and other unimaginable places simply because they cannot afford a decent apartment to live in. In fact, the standard of living has fallen to the lowest ebb. So you have discussed the first point. This is one of the effects of unemployment. You are painting a picture of how serious the problem is, and then you are going to make recommendations. This is the way you have chosen to approach this topic, and it is good. Then we go to the next paragraph. Moreover, a large population of our unemployed youths are going into crime as a means of getting income. You see, this is the second point, the key point number 2 in our outline, and we are discussing it here. And then, having stated our topic sentence, which conveys the key point we want to talk about in this paragraph, all the other sentences will be supporting details. All right, so now let's see how we support this topic sentence with the following sentences. It is now common to find the youth forming large armed robbery gangs, going from house to rob, rape, maim, and sometimes kill people. Others resort to cult membership and activities, kidnapping, ritual killing, and so forth. All this happen because an idle mind is the devil's workshop, as the saying goes. So you have supported this topic sentence, this key point, in which you are saying that a large population of the unemployed youths are going into crime, which means a rising rate of crime is one of the evils of unemployment. That's what we have discussed in that paragraph. Then in the next paragraph, we discuss the third key point that we jotted down on our outline, and that is the increasing rate of violence. And so we write this in a topic sentence, and then we support our point with our key point with supporting details. Okay, so this is a point in a topic sentence here. The increasing rate of violence we are currently witnessing in our society is also due to unemployment. You see, you are saying that that's another critical effect of unemployment. Can you imagine a gainfully employed youth going to join a terrorist group and putting his life on the line by participating in suicide missions? You are saying that, you know, somebody who is gainfully employed is not likely to join a terrorist group. It is usually the unemployed youths that fall prey to the terrorist groups who entice them with cash and other rewards. It is the same population of unemployed youths that unscrupulous politicians use as thugs to cause violence during elections and whenever they want to achieve their selfish aims. All right, so you have actually stated your point. And then in the next paragraph, you want to come up with suggestions how to remedy the situation, how to solve the problem. All right. Now let's look at how we make our recommendations here. To remedy this ugly situation, the government should establish agro-allied industries as a way of creating more employment opportunities for people who have no source of income. This is your first recommendation, and you want to support it by saying, establishing agro-allied industries will not only provide employment to the citizens, but will also raise people's standard of living by reducing the prices of essential commodities. Then you are coming with the second recommendation. The Directorate of Employment and Youth Development should organize skill acquisition and development and self-development programs aimed at helping unemployed youths to get involved in productive activities. This is your second recommendation. Then you want to say something to support this point you have raised. Then you have noticed that your state government is already doing something there. So you comment, you say, I must commend the state government for their ongoing efforts at initiating such programs. You have made this suggestion that you say you have observed that the government is already doing something in that direction. And then you say, I urge them to do more in that direction. Then you still have another recommendation. The state arm of the National Orientation Agency should also organize programs aimed at reorientating the citizens towards acquiring skills and developing themselves in order to become more productive. All right? So these are your recommendations, how to solve the problem. Now, this is your final call to action. And then you say, this is your conclusion here. I believe that if the above recommendations are looked into promptly and implemented, the evils of unemployment will be eradicated for the general good of our people. then you say thanks. Now take note of this, yours faithfully, comma. Now, one thing you need to observe, yours should start with a capital letter Y, and faithfully should start with a small letter F, and then you put a comma after that. What comes next will be your signature. So if you are writing the exam and submitting a handwritten paper, of course you sign. You actually append your signature. After yours faithfully, you append your signature, then followed by your full name, Ogunyemi Rose, where the surname is Ogunyemi and the first name is Rose, and then you put a full stop. So this is basically how to write a formal letter. I hope you have learned the steps we discussed, and I hope you enjoyed the lesson. If you did, like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, this is the appropriate time for you to hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon as well, so as to activate the notification system. What that implies is that whenever I upload a new video on this channel, you will receive a notification so that you won't miss the new videos each time I upload them. If you have any suggestions or comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. There are many many related videos and videos also on content creation, on digital marketing, on online business. You will find quite a lot of them on this channel. So you can make time to check through the channel, and you will find many videos that will be helpful to you in language learning and also in finding ideas on how to create multiple streams of income doing business online, just as I am doing right now. Now, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for being part of today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you and remain blessed.